The story begins as the Abyss threatens to destroy Noelle's hometown. The Abyss is a force that forms when too much mana fills the air, and it links the human world with the demon realm called the Void. When the Abyss deepens, more powerful creatures emerge, and tonight the Abyss has reached a depth of 12, enough to summon a deadly creature known as a Lord. Noelle's grandfather Brandon, once the strongest Seeker, and known as the legendary Overdeath, prepares for battle. As the threat looms, he grips his weapon and mutters to himself how he never thought he'd wield it again. Brandon orders Noelle to stay in the shelter, claiming that help will arrive soon. However, Noelle knows his grandfather too well. Help isn't coming. Brandon is preparing to fight the Lord alone, and Noelle realizes that his grandfather plans to defeat it himself. With legendary confidence, Brandon reminds Noelle not to doubt him, asking if he's forgotten who he is. Overdeath, a name feared by all. He promises to protect Noelle with his life, and Noelle calls out to him as he leaves. As Brandon prepares for the fight, he thinks about telling Noelle that men can't let anyone look down on them, no matter when or what they face. Noelle hides in the shelter, terrified as his mind races with thoughts of his grandfather. He stays hidden, feeling dread creep over him as the moments stretch on. Eventually, Noelle steps out of the shelter and finds Brandon gravely wounded. Brandon reflects on his fate, acknowledging that even Overdeath has his limits. He tells Noelle that this is the path of Seekers. Choosing a life of combat means living with death always nearby. Despite his condition, Brandon asks Noelle if he still wants to be a Seeker, even knowing the dangers that come with it. Noelle, holding back his emotions, responds with determination. He tells his grandfather that he will follow the same path and become a Seeker. Brandon, though proud, tells Noelle that being a Seeker is not enough. He must become the strongest, and he asks Noelle to promise that he will surpass even him. Noelle then swears that he will become the strongest Seeker. Brandon chuckles with pride and tells Noelle that he loves him. In that moment, Brandon passes away and Noelle screams in agony. It's been 2 years since then, and we see that Noelle has kept his promise to become a Seeker. His team is confronted by monsters, so Noelle expertly gives them orders on the best way to win the fight. Noelle belongs to the weakest support class called Talkers, but he's proud of it being his job. After defeating the monsters, Noelle's team starts cutting them apart. Noelle explains that lesser vampires can't use magic, but their queen can reproduce rapidly, creating endless spawns, each strong enough to tear apart an ox. As they strategize, a vampire attacks Noelle, but Tanya saves them just in time. The team considers targeting the queen directly to stop the spawns, but Noelle advises against it. He explains that their C-rank team should focus on the spawns first for a higher chance of success. The team knows how critical Noelle is to their success, acknowledging that as the buffer of the party, he has the authority to give them orders. Despite their rank, they can take on this B-rank mission because of Noelle's direction and skills. Noelle then reflects silently on his role. Being a talker means he specializes in support, using his buff words to increase the team's combat abilities. However, his own fighting strength is weak, and he has to rely entirely on his comrades in battle. This is why talkers are often ridiculed as the weakest class. Suddenly, the queen comes out of nowhere, releasing a poisonous gas. The gas spreads quickly, causing chaos. Lloyd and Walter immediately recognize that they must save Noelle first, because they know that they are powerless without his buffs. Tanya follows as they rush to rescue him. However, in the midst of confusion, Tanya is struck by the monster. Without Noelle's buffs, Lloyd and Walter struggle to fight back, and they know that they can't win without him. The team begs for Noelle to give them orders, and they remind him that he's supposed to be the talker. Anger rises within Noelle as he tells everyone not to look down on him. He pulls out his weapon, and he prepares to show his team how a talker fights. Noelle uses his talker skill called Tactician. By giving orders to the party, it'll increase the abilities of the members by 25%. Noelle tells his brain-dead team to avoid an attack, and he uses his battle voice, which increases the recovery speed of his team's stamina and mana. Noelle has Tanya cast a barrier on the two warriors, and he has them destroy the beast. However, things get worse as they notice more monsters nearby. Tanya begins to panic, so Noelle uses his Pierce support skill to stabilize her frantic mental state. Noelle sets a timer for 74 seconds, and he declares that he will take care of the small fry so the others can focus on the main body. He continues to instruct the others on every single move they make, and he tells them to prepare their most powerful attack. Noel stuns all the small fry and prepares his magic gun, the only anti-beast weapon that a talker like him can rely on. Noel fires an ice bullet to freeze the demons, but one escapes. Noel only has one bullet left, and 43 seconds remain on his timer. Noel determines that the beast will reach him in 23 seconds, so according to his calculations, he has just enough time to tell the guys to attack the main body. He gets the message out just before the beast attacks him, and his brain-dead teammates unleash their attack. Tanya is amazed that they were able to win, but she is horrified to find that Noel was struck. This is not the case, however, as Noel's timing was perfect. He dodged just enough to evade the attack, but also factored into his calculations that the spawns would lose their ability to move after the queen was defeated. The battle ends exactly as Noel predicted, with the mission completed in 74 seconds. His teammates, impressed but joking, tease him for being too confident with his risky timing. Noel's thoughts then shift to a memory of his grandfather. As a child, he had been upset about being a talker, and he wished to be a warrior like his grandfather. His grandfather reassured him, promising that his talent would shine and that he would help Noel become the strongest seeker. Back to the present, Noel silently reaffirms his goal to surpass his grandfather, even as a talker, the role most people consider the weakest. Noel then explains how Yttria, the capital of the Velnant Empire, thrives on magic and technology derived from research on the beasts. The city depends on seekers to protect it from the abyss, and they are admired as heroes. Later, while the team enjoys a meal, Noel reflects on how at 15 years old, he began searching for companions in Yttria, knowing that as a talker he couldn't fight alone. Walter, proud of their $5,000 reward, talks about their progress, while Tanya and Lloyd discuss aiming higher. Noel, however, quietly thinks that they could benefit from having a scout, but for now he focuses on gaining experience with his current team. The conversation changes when Walter asks Noel if he's upset about the reward. Walter is drunk, so he teases Noel for caring too much about money, saying a seeker should be big-hearted. Walter's words about money trigger a memory for Noel, reminding him of something his grandfather had once told him. His grandfather explained that seekers must prioritize money to buy the best equipment and supplies for survival. Being labeled as greedy or evil is a mark of success, not shame. His grandfather, known as Overdeath, taught Noel never to let others look down on him, regardless of their opinions. Returning to the present, Noel insists he isn't upset, but Walter continues to criticize him. This escalates into a back-and-forth exchange, with Noel mocking Walter's reliance on age for authority. Ability is all that matters for a seeker, so Noel mocks Walter for using his age to force others to agree with him. The furious Walter accuses Noel of staying safe in battle, while others take the risk. Walter reminds him that he puts his own life at risk to tank for the others, but Noel continues to taunt him. Their argument intensifies as Walter says that he will end Noel's life, and Noel accepts his challenge. Lloyd steps in to break it up, and he reminds them that they are all comrades. He suggests that they split the reward and call it a night, successfully calming the tension between them. After completing the mission, the team is left with only $2,500 each after paying the clan. Tanya is disappointed with the payout, feeling that it was too small for the effort involved. Lloyd explains that while the mission was tough, missions like these are rare and they'll make more money when they take on another job. However, Noel points out that unlike official clans, they don't receive missions directly from the country, which limits their opportunities and earnings. He mentions how rare missions like these are for independent seekers like them, and how much more difficult it is without being part of a clan. Lloyd updates the group on their total savings, which amounts to just over $100,000. Without hesitation, Noel proposes using that money to establish their own clan. Lloyd warns Noel that starting a clan requires paying the country $200,000, far more than they currently have. Noel responds confidently, stating that he's willing to cover the remaining $80,000 from his own savings. His determination is clear. He believes that establishing a clan will allow them to break free from doing second-hand jobs and truly grow. Despite Lloyd's warnings about the high costs of renting a base of operations in the capital, Noel remains undeterred, explaining that he already has a lead on a cheap place. Lloyd expresses doubts about their ability to manage a clan, pointing out that they're still a young, inexperienced C-rank team. He feels that they aren't ready for such a responsibility. Noel challenges this thinking, asking Lloyd when exactly they will be ready. He argues that if they don't take action now, they'll remain stuck as C-rank seekers forever. He insists that experience will come from running a clan, not from waiting until they feel ready. Lloyd continues to express concern, stating that without the country's trust, they won't receive the high-paying jobs they need to succeed. Noel counters this by explaining that their youth, attractiveness, and strength are assets the country values. The government wants more seekers, and a successful seeker is often seen as both an idol and a hero. He believes that their look and skills will help them succeed, and he even brings up how signing contracts with companies could bring them sponsorships and additional income. Walter, still shocked by the conversation, can't believe that being good looking could help them get better treatment from the country, but Noel remains confident. He even tells Walter that despite his flaws, he too has the kind of looks that could benefit the clan's image. Walter, who was initially skeptical, is eventually swayed by Noel's argument. Tired of doing second-hand jobs, he agrees with the idea of forming a clan, adding that status, fame, and money are all appealing. He even makes a crude joke about using his newfound status to attract women, which causes Tanya to scold him. With Walter on board, Noel turns to Lloyd, asking for his opinion as the leader. Noel's determination shocks everyone when he reveals that if they don't agree to form a clan, he's prepared to quit the party and take his share of their savings. He reminds them that he has a dream to become the greatest seeker, surpassing even his grandfather, the legendary Overdeath. Lloyd is taken aback by Noel's conviction, but he understands that this is something Noel isn't willing to compromise on. After thinking it over, Lloyd agrees. His reason is that they would have to make this decision sooner or later. Tanya, still in disbelief, questions Lloyd's choice, but he reassures her that this was always the path they were headed towards. Lloyd recommends that they continue discussing the details later, after resting and recovering from the long day and all the alcohol. The group agrees to reconvene in 2 days to finalize their plans. As everyone leaves, Tanya stops Noel, but she just ends up saying goodbye. The next day, Walter frantically tells Noel that Lloyd and Tanya have betrayed them, leaving them shaken and uncertain about what to do next. Thanks for watching my recap. Subscribe to the channel for more videos.